welcome to Basketball Talk Pro. My name is Ron Ekker. Before we start on the subject itself, I just want to share with you an experience I had yesterday. I drove quite a distance from my home to a meeting, and it was a small meeting, maybe 12 to 15 people at the most. But I learned a lot, and as I do with everything, first of all, the meeting was about health, and a man had flown in from Salt Lake City to talk about this to this group of people. And I will tell you, he was brilliant, and the discussion was brilliant, and the information I received or learned in that meeting made me think immediately of basketball and you coaches. Something I've never touched on in these meetings is your health. And I don't want to do it today, but I am going to prepare something because I think health is, we overlook it, and if we don't overlook it, we don't discipline ourselves to live correctly, to have extended health, to maybe add years to our life, but not only just years, but effective years, rather than be in a nursing home or a hospital bed, being vital and able to do things for a longer period of time. So we will talk about that in another time, when I've had a little bit more time to learn and prepare. Today, though, we're talking about, as you can see, the title, 3 words. And what prompted me to make this video was that in talking to coaches asking me questions, or coaches telling me what they were doing with some of the things that we talk about in these videos, especially in the area of drills and offenses and defenses and that sort of thing. And in both cases, or 3 or 4 cases actually, they told me they were using a drill that they had learned from this course, from these videos, and then they added on what they were doing with it. And in all of those cases, they had made additions that I just felt were almost negating the value of the drill. And I pointed this out to them. And one of the coaches said to me that kind of agreed, I think, in what I was saying, and he said, you know, that would be maybe a good video for coaches as a whole, because I don't think they understand what the importance of it. So that is why that I decided today to talk about how to understand some of the things that we're talking about in use of drills or offenses or defenses. And I think that it needs to start with a clear understanding of the 3 words that I've put into the title, and I would like to do that right now. This was really a interesting experience for me. I went to my dictionary, and I would warn or caution all of you to have a good dictionary. The dictionary I have has been used so much that I have to use duct tape to keep the binding from the whole thing falling apart. But I get good definitions, clear definitions from that dictionary. And it was interesting for me to see that these three words, efficient, effective, and efficacious, were, as you know, in the dictionaries are all in columns. Well, these three words were all in one column, and they were in the proximity of each other. Very close to being. And yet, the three words, when you look at the real definition, which all of these words are used generally with not having the distinct definitions or meaning when they're used. And that's why I go to the dictionary, because it clears up for me the actual effectiveness and use of the word. So let's look at these three words. Efficient is described as productive of desired effects. Effective is saying producing a decided, decisive, or desired effect. Efficacious is saying having the power to produce a desired effect. Let's look at each one. Efficient is not saying multiple effects, not saying three effects, it's saying a desired effect. This is used in all three of these words. Effective, though, is stronger. It says producing, not productive, producing a decided, in other words, you've thought it out, decisive, desired effect, a purpose. You've heard me say this so much. Drill has to have a single purpose. That's what effective is saying. Efficacious is saying having the power to produce a desired effect. The power is, does the drill have the power to produce the effect that you want, your purpose? But power has a twofold meaning. Power indicates, does the drill have the power to do it? Also means, does the coach have the power to produce the desired effect from whatever they're deciding to do? Look at the words productive, producing, power to produce. Desired effects, decided, decisive, desired effect, power to produce a desired effect. This is as clear as I can give it to you on what you're trying to accomplish, and you can't waste your time by adding, tweaking to the singular purpose. I've told you this story about Vince Lombardi's 4-person sled, and I'm going to repeat it. Every practice, Lombardi took his offensive line. He had a 4-person sled. He stood on that sled, and he encouraged his players constantly, day after day after day, that they had to be so coordinated that they hit that sled with only one sound, bang, not bang, 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 just one singular bang. The teamwork, the purpose he wanted was a offensive line that was so coordinated and so quick to get across that line of scrimmage to their opponent that
their running game, which is what his system was built on, the running game, would be effective. The result was one of the best at that time, offensive line in the NFL. They were feared and respected throughout the league. One simple little drill, one purpose, nothing else. No tweaking, no changing, no adding, no subtracting. A simple drill day after day after day got the results that he wanted, his desired effect. It was very clear in his purpose, and he didn't deviate from that purpose. If he were alive today and in his prime, and you put him as head coach of any team in the NFL, he would throw out all of the little gimmicky things that coaches love to use, and he'd get his four-person sled out. And at the end of the year, when the smoke cleared, his team would be one of the best, if not the best, regardless of the personnel, what he was coaching. This is the point I'm trying to make to you.
Well, it may help you to understand a little bit clearer what I'm trying to get across to you by showing you two examples of what I'm talking about. A first example is this one. It's our screen away drill that you should all know because we've taught it, and is one of the number of drills that we use for improvisation. Very simple drill, much like what I'm talking about. It has a single purpose, and I'll show you how coaches degrade this drill and actually make it worthless. First of all, just to review, a line here, line over here to wing, passing to a coach, not another player, a coach. And that's one area that gets tweaked, that is wrong, and degrades the drill a little. Pass the screen, and I just drew up here one cut off the screen and the movement of the screener. Now, there are exactly 4 or 5 different cuts and movements of the screener in that drill. I just showed you one. But what happens, and maybe you are all guilty of it, some of you or all of you, but what happens is the coach decides to put in another person with the ball. So now you have 2 balls, and whichever one the coach throws to, the other guy throws to the guy that didn't get the first pass. So they have 2 balls in there. Now, I've questioned this in many different situations. But in the NBA, the players want to have 2 balls. And they kind of overrule everything in a drill. And the head coach I worked with allowed that to happen. And I went to him after practice. I waited patiently and said, and this is my point to you. This is not a shooting drill. It has one definite purpose. It's a cutting drill. Learning how to cut off of screens and use the various cuts so that you can improvise in a game. it is not a shooting drill. Now, granted, one of these players is going to get a realistic shot that they get in a game. The second is never realistic. It's a waste of time, and what happens is now the players are focusing on their shooting rather than on their cutting. And so you have degraded, you have weakened, you've almost destroyed the drill. That's an example of what I'm talking about. And the definitions are very clear that I gave you. It's a desired effect. It's not there for the players to decide they want more shots. You make those decisions, what you want out of that drill. And then you discipline the situation so that you're getting that desired effect. That's the power of the drill. That's the power of the coach. Second situation that I see so much. Let's say we're learning cut one. We have this setup. You know, we start there and then they run the play, we make corrections. And then in my system, we have 5 players, can be more, on the outside of that. The 1-man or the 2-man always have a ball ready to go. As soon as they run a play, one, get the shot, rebound it if it requires that. They move off, this team comes on and does the same thing. Here's what happens. The coach says, well, we'll get many more repetitions if I take this group and put them down here with an assistant. And he may actually put an assistant in charge of both of those. And then basically when I see that, I know exactly what's happening. He wants a break. So now he can kind of wander around, lollygag around, and let the assistants do the work. Nothing against the assistants, but I'm just telling you, if you watch carefully this group, if the head coach is with this group, they're getting work done. They're effective. They're efficient. And they're efficacious. This group, regardless of how good the assistant is, how hard he tries, it isn't the same. The same voice isn't there. It's a different voice. It's a different person. And what you run into, if that head coach isn't careful, down at this end, they're running it different than they're up at this end. You know, it's just a little tweak here and there, so that the assistant can feel important and show the players that, you know, I'm pretty smart. But it even go beyond that, especially in the NBA where there's a lot of money involved on what position you have on the team. The assistant, you know, lets the players know, hey, I think I know more than the other guy. I think I may even know more than the head coach. That's the treachery of the situation. But it can be done innocently too, that a person wants his ego satisfied, so he changes a little bit or teaches it just a little bit different. I've been in NBA practices, I've watched NBA practices, college practices, high school practices, and every time I've seen that, this end, if the coach isn't involved, they're doing nothing. They're wasting their time. Yes, you can say they get more repetitions, but are the repetitions effective? I preach that this is the most effective way to teach your offense or your defense. Have them all together, listening to your voice, if you're the head coach, constantly, hearing the same corrections, hearing the same instructions, both teams getting the same thing. So what if you don't get as many repetitions in? Just do it more often, and keep your players in one group. These are two examples. There's tons of them. I see them all the time. Under the guise of saying it's more efficient. This is more efficient. This is more efficient when you get them down there. You saw what the word efficient really means. A desired result. Producing a desired result. Not getting more repetitions. Not getting more people a shot. What's the desired result? What I want is every player on our team knowing exactly what I want, knowing exactly how it's supposed to be done. Nobody tweaking it, nobody adding things, nobody subtracting things. No, and more intensity. This group has no intensity. That's what happens to the assistant. The poor guy maybe wants them to be more intense, but they're looking down at the other group, seeing what the head coach is doing. Keep them together. Take control of your drill. You have to have the power to make that drill get the result that you want. Well, I hope that clears up some things for you. I think it's very important to have a single purpose. I don't think there's anything quite like it. Don't worry about trying to do 2, 3, 4 things at a time. If those are important things, isolate them in a drill and give them the same respect and attention that you want from each drill. And then you'll get dynamic results. You'll see it in a game, but you probably won't see it if you disguise it in these drills by utilizing and encumbering the drill and the players in many things. I want to close by just reminding you that tomorrow night, Monday night, I don't know when you're watching this, so I better say Monday night, and I think that's, I believe Monday night is the 11th. We're having another classroom session with our coaches class. You're welcome to join it. This particular session will be on teaching and learning. And you're welcome to do that. There is a charge for you because the coaches in the class have paid for their right to have these. But all you have to do is go on the website, go to the PayPal button. It's listed as course and it's $20. You're welcome to take part, and it will not affect anything. So that's it for now. We'll see you in a couple of days, and thanks for watching and listening.